right, so as promised,
echo, I think. Okay.
When I stopped sharing, automatically unmuted me.
All right. So yeah, again, as promised, I will talk a little bit more about the integration with Z ChatOps, so integration of Z Workload Scheduler and providing chat integration, chat-based operations. And I have a live demo for that as well. So first of all, let's talk about what is ChatOps, first of all. So it is, in general, a collaboration model that connects people, tools, processes, and automation into one transparent workflow by using a common tool, the chat tool, an enterprise chat tool like Slack, MS Teams, or Mattermost, where people come together, where chatbots can be integrated. So one common pattern or two main components here are the chat tool, of course, that provides the main features for collaboration, and things like team rooms, message persistency, searching capabilities, all those things that you're familiar with when you work with MS Teams or Slack or likes of that. And another key piece of ChatOps is, of course, by using chatbots to actually integrate your tooling into the discussion as well. And so this, of course, by integrating in such a common environment, collaboration environment, and getting access to your tools, you have less context switches, you can collaborate quicker. Everyone is always on the same page because everyone is seeing the same data that is being discussed in the channel and gets the same data that is accessed through a chatbot from backends. So this can, of course, help improve the time to solve issues and in general helps with the collaboration. So if we look at the typical incident management workflow, this tries to show a little bit on how ChatOps can help to improve the time to fix an issue. So first of all, if we look at the detect phase, so a chatbot can notify the team in a chat channel about incidents, so everyone is aware very quickly, and that of course can help to reduce the mean time to detect an issue. The chatbot can then also already include contextual information along with that event, can provide insights, and that of course can help to reduce the mean time to identify an issue. By having all the relevant people in one channel, everyone is aware of the situation, everyone sees what is happening, what is being collaborated on, so this helps to reduce the mean time to know, helps with the collaboration. And a chatbot can even execute commands, potentially even automatically, to fix issues, so that can also help to reduce the time to repair an issue. And then just in general, working together, of course, means to have a better culture, have better and blameless postmortems, better transparency by having a history of the activities and so forth. I've already shown this slide this morning, so I'll skip that one. Let's have a closer look at the functional overview for what we provided now by integrating Z Workload Scheduler with Z ChatOps. So Z Workload Scheduler 10.1 has been enhanced to allow sending alerts to Z ChatOps so that any scheduling event can be surfaced into a chat channel with the team. And Z ChatOps in the latest release has also been enhanced to actually make queries against the REST API provided by Workload Scheduler through the dynamic workload console to provide various queries, right? And the main queries are listed here. You can, of course, list the engines, you can list the workstations and do queries like looking for workstations that are offline. You can look at the jobs, see jobs that are in error, list critical jobs that are in high risk, potential risk, list job streams, and so forth. So these are the queries, kind of queries that you can take through the chatbot and get results directly in the chat channel. Here are some examples shown at the bottom here. For instance, you can list the workstations, get a view of the workstations. The output typically has context-sensitive action buttons as well to drill down into more details. For example, for a specific workstation, you could look at the details or look at the jobs running on that workstation and so forth. And in addition to the queries, we also have actions provided through the chatbot. So you can even change the status of a job and a job stream or the status of a workstation. And of course, all the chatbot output also contains context-sensitive links so that you can then drill down into more details and into the dynamic workload console. This is an example of event coming from Z Workload Scheduler. Here we're showing in this screenshot Mattermost. This is an open source chat tool that can be deployed also on premise. Most of the other enterprise application chat platforms, collaboration platforms are cloud-based, like Microsoft Teams, Slack, and so forth. One benefit of using Mattermost is that you can also install it locally on premise. So if you have issues, for example, that people access mainframe information from a cloud tool, then that could be a choice as well to use Mattermost. We have even customers that use both Microsoft Teams on a more global space and Mattermost for internal discussions, for more specific to certain operational teams. So here we have a channel where the team participates, and also the chatbot is part of that member of that channel, and alerts could show up here in that channel, like a specific job has failed or something like that. There's another example. In this case, it's actually an event from system automation. So as I mentioned already this morning, the Z ChatOps integrates not only Z Workload Scheduler, but also information from other tools like system automation, NetView, Omega, and Omegamon mainly. And this could be, for example, an event coming from system automation that an application has failed and system automation was not able to restart it automatically, something like that. And you always get context-sensitive help or links to get more information, and also context-sensitive buttons to drill down into more details. And I'll show you some of that in the demo. In this example, this is Microsoft Teams. And here's another example now looking at Omegamon data, so monitoring information. You can, for example, list the LPARs that are being monitored by Omegamon COS. You get a list of LPARs, you get an overview, metrics like how are they performing, is it healthy, what's the CPU consumption. You can then drill down into the LPAR details or look at the jobs that have the highest CPU consumption on a specific LPAR, all from within the same chat channel without having to switch tools. In this example screenshot is using Slack as a chat platform. And one of the new additions in our latest Z ChatOps release is also that you can even issue commands on connected systems. So this can be any MVS command, COS command, or also NetView commands. Just one example. So you can use the chatbot name, just say command execute, then the command that you want to execute, this task, for example, on a specific system that you specify here. For these kind of generic commands, and for actions that would change something like starting an application or stopping an application, you actually have to log in using a personal user ID. So that's of course an important aspect here, that this is not done under a functional user, but that any chat user that's sitting in front of it is actually authenticated against the backend, against RUCAP, for example. And then you get the output in the chat tool. Okay, time for demo. Okay, so I'm going to use Slack here for my demo, for the main parts of the demo at least. And this is one chat channel. I have multiple members in that channel, so that could be the operational team. And we also have the chatbot included in that discussion, in that channel. So that could be the ops team's channel where they discuss any issues with the mainframe environment. And I can just mention the chatbot. This example, we have named it B and C. So you can give it any name. So that's for bot on C. And let's start with help. And then it will tell us what's available as commands. You see, it's actually quite a lot. There are, first of all, several commands around getting information about coming from Omegamon for the monitoring side. So you can look at kicks plexes that are being monitored by Omegamon for kicks, or DB2 or LPARs for general LPAR kind of metrics that are monitored by Omegamon COS, network information, storage route, and so forth. So this is all data that is coming from the monitoring side from Omegamon. Then we have a set of commands that allow you to look at system automation data, system automation resources. So look at the availability status of things, of your systems, some NetView commands. And here at the bottom, you see the new additions that allow you to even work with a workload scheduling environment. So you can look at engines, workstations, job streams, jobs, and critical jobs. That's the main entry points. And you get some, so first of all, you have your context sensitive links into the help. So if you want to get more information about how to issue the commands, you can just select the link to get to the online documentation, or you can also select this show command details button to look at, let's say I want to understand how to use the engine command. Then it will show some examples. Again, provide the link to the documentation, but also give some examples how you can use it. For example, use engine list status to list all the engines and their status. And let me just do that right now. Engine list status. I can actually also just say engine list, because status is the default. And that will display me the engines that are connected. I have one engine connected. So this is the IZWS engine. And a typical pattern here is that we always have here context sensitive buttons. So now you could look at the engine details. You could look at workstations on that engine. You could look at job streams, jobs, critical jobs. So for instance, let's start with looking at the workstations. Let's just select that and you get, so the chatbot now retrieves the data and displays that directly in the channel. And you can see an overview of the various workstations that are available here, including the main status information. And you can then also drill down into more information. For instance, look at workstation details. Say I want to look at the details of a certain workstation, then you get even more information about that particular workstation, like more properties.
Can you filter that initial list?
Yes. So you can use filters, you can use wildcards, everything. So I'll show you some examples. And then the nice thing is you get all this in one channel. So the whole team sees the same information, it's always on the same page. And you can just start collaborating. You can just start discussing with other people here. So I'm seeing this or that, and what do you recommend? Maybe you check that, I check that, whatever. It's just helping with the collaboration. It's not just another interface like another command line interface. It's really also helping the collaboration. So I'm looking here at the specific workstation. I could now look at jobs on that workstation, and then we'll just display the first set of jobs on that workstation, again with status information. And I can, even drill down further to look at maybe some job details. See that specific one, see the status of it, and see when it's scheduled, and all that. And all of those, that output you see here has also URLs, or here, that will then take you to the corresponding resource in the dynamic workload console. So if I click that, you can actually get more information, of course, directly through the dynamic workload console in context of that job, or here at the job stream view. So if you want to drill down into more details, you can also do that. So I started right now from just issuing one command, one query, and then using the buttons to drill down. But of course, you can also perform perform the actions directly on the command line. So for example, you can just hit workstation list and get the workstations directly without having to start from the engine level, right? Or you can also even set the status information. So this one is inactive, so let's set it active. Use that. That's workstation set status. It was, I think, Alt W. Oh, I forgot to specify which status I want to set. Workstation set status active. Alt A. I think I specified it incorrectly. Status active. And the good thing is it provides me the help if I type it incorrectly. For example, I have to specify the workstation name like that. So I can either type out workstation name. So what's now wrong?
Below this WN, see.
Yeah, right. Workstation set status active. So now this is one of the examples that I've mentioned. You saw the queries you can do using a functional user ID, just get the data. This is where I make a modification, like setting a status. I'm prompted to log in. In this case, I have to specify a login to the dynamic workload console, basically to the REST API to actually take that, to issue that request. Now I can look at the current status and it should have changed. So it's now, status is now normal. So I've set it to active. Okay, now let's look at a few other examples. So let's look at critical jobs. The shortcut is CJ. I could also type critical jobs. Again, list status. But now I want to filter to only list those that are in high risk. So job risk high. So this would be all that are at high risk level. And then again, I can drill down into more details here in the same pattern that you have seen before. Or look at the job streams, JS or job stream. I could also write that out. And then look at maybe jobs on a specific job stream. And then again, look at job details and so forth. So, yeah, we talked about filtering, so let's try that. So, for example, look at job streams that start with test and use test asterisk. And I could just list the job streams that start with test, which is one job stream here in this case. And then again, I can look at details, show jobs on that job stream, for example, it's always the same kind of pattern. And I can also even set the status of a job in the same pattern that you saw with a workstation. So this is in general how you can interact with the chatbot. As I mentioned before, of course, you can also not only get workload scheduling data, you could also look, for example, look at this, A domains. By the way, I used so far mainly that command line style syntax that is also described here, but we have also some, we call that simple form sentence syntax. So I could also just say show as A domains, for example, that will be translated to a corresponding command line command. So they will, the chatbot will try to be intelligent and try to understand what you're typing here to some extent. For example, these are system automation domains where you can then drill down also in, let's say, the automated resources on a specific domain to look at the system automation thing. And you saw it's the same kind of usage. You just use the chatbot, do your query, get the information, and it's very, very quick to just get it and share with the team, even take actions. As you have seen, I could also start applications here through system automation or stop them and do things like that. Just as an example, this of course also works in Microsoft Teams. This is same kind of queries that I just did in Slack, looking at the engine, get the buttons. It looks a little bit different, but the general concept is exactly the same. It's just a different chat integration. You see the job streams here and the drill down and so on. Okay. So, I mean, does that sound useful to you? Do you see any use case for it? Any feedback?
Yeah, I mean, it would be useful. I mean, how soon we'd implement it, I don't know, probably a long time down the road. But yeah, it was funny useful.
Do you all use things like Microsoft Teams for like problem discussions and so forth? Okay.
Yeah, probably Teams is becoming the most.
Yeah, that's
common.
what I see as well. So Microsoft Teams is by far the most common.
Yeah.
All right. So let's maybe have a look at the architecture a little bit. So of course, yeah, at the top you have the chat tool, and as I mentioned, right now we support Slack, Microsoft Teams, and Mattermost as possible integrations. And we have the Z ChatOps microservice that provides the chatbot application that is being deployed into those chat tools, and that provides or that forwards the queries to the corresponding backends. Most of the queries for NetView system automation, the Omega ones, are provided through APIs of Service Management Unite. For the integration with IBM Z Workload Scheduler, we obviously use the REST API that is provided by the Dynamic Workload Console. From there, so there's a connectivity here, getting the data through the API into the environment, into the chat environment. And we have the Open REST API that provides the possibility to send basically any event into Z ChatOps, which will then surface it into your channel that you specify with the event. So that's an open API, and Z Workload Scheduler has been enhanced to use it. All the other products that you see here are also enabled to use it as well to notify people through chat about certain incidents. If you also have what's an AIOps, by the way, so there's also what's an AIOps chat integration, ChatOps user experience. So in that case, events like from Omega Mon, Workload Scheduler, System Automation could also be sent into what's an AIOps. which can do the corresponding event correlation, do its analytics, and then creates a so-called story that it then can publish into Microsoft Teams or Slack for SREs to further diagnose and analyze. And then if there's some C elements affected, you could then continue to use the Z chatbot to get even more details by having both integrated into the same channel, right? What's an AIOps as well as the Z ChatOps chatbot. Okay, let's also talk a little bit about the deployment options, like for the dynamic workload console and AIDA and so forth. This is all containerized. So we have the Z ChatOps services containerized. We have SMU containerized. This can all run in container environments like Docker, but also on OpenShift or on even CCX, which is quite interesting for C-focused customers, right, as I mentioned before. And yeah, this is just some additional information where you can get it. So if you're interested to get Z ChatOps, to get the chat integration, there's a download portal where you can get the code. And I have shown you this slide already this morning, so just with some pointers for additional information. And with that, I'm done.
Great, thank you. Okay, what's the time? 20 to 3. We've got one more session, which is birds of a feather.